Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be heading over to that woodlands. It's not as sunny as it has been, which is a pleasant relief for me since I'm from Cornwall. This is kind of like a normal temperature for me, so I'm really enjoying this. So I'm going to get my hiking stick and we're going to make our way over there. Now that wind is quite refreshing, but we did have or experience a wildfire yesterday. We were in this lake swimming quite late. We left and driving home we saw plumes of smoke, and then we saw all the fire planes going over, and they were obviously dropping water on the fire engines and trucks. So yeah, it is real wildfires out here in central Portugal. Now when we were here roughly 2 years ago, we did experience the real bad scenario of when wildfires sweep over vast parts of central Portugal, and we could look from Jaime's dad's place and look up into the mountains, and there was plumes of smoke everywhere. It is a real threat, and for the local people, you know, because it's a poor region, it definitely is, you know, life altering and changing, on top of the, you know, the very present danger to life itself. Yeah, it goes without saying, everything's done here to make sure you don't have wildfires. So I'm just starting to skirt around where there are some trees and that, and you can quite evidently see why if a wildfire starts, it just goes up like a tinderbox. And I think it's not helped by what I believe I'm seeing here in front of me, a load of eucalyptus trees. I'll just quickly show you, and you can get a definite idea what I'm talking about. There, you can see all the absolutely, you know, sun-baked and dried leaves everywhere. And you can see the trees themselves. It just looks like just one match and everything would go up. And these are what eucalyptus trees look like. Or I believe I'm looking at a eucalyptus tree. But you can see it is just tinderbox dry, and one spark and it would all go up. I mean, just look at this. The bark is so dry and brittle. Back home, this stuff would make great tinder to start your, you know, bushcraft fire or wild camping stove, but, you know, twig stove. But here, this really is dangerous. Looks absolutely beautiful, peaceful and calm. Although over a weekend period and in good weather, when I say good weather, this is good weather for back home, but you know, real good solid Portuguese summertime temperatures. A lot of people come here because obviously they're seeking shade from the sun, and it's right next to the water. So this little bit of woodland I've walked over to is all but an island really. There's water on nearly, well, 3 complete sides, and I've got water down there, all the way around here, around the back of that rise, all the way around, and you can see water out there. Yeah, it's truly a nice little place, and you know, I could quite easily spend time here because it's sheltered, and when I say sheltered, I don't mean like from back home, wind and rain. It's quite simply the sun. Yeah, so when I came over here, I did find a nice little Portuguese bushcraft shelter. And like I was saying just a moment ago, it wouldn't be for wind or rain. It's quite simply sun. But it's quite interesting that people have made one. And you can see the similarities between something that you'd throw together at home to what they've done here. It's almost a universal concept. So there you go. There's that bushcraft shelter. Now, it looks like rocks have been stacked up there for whatever purpose. I've got no idea what. There's some more to create sort of like the front of it, but you can see it's been made up of all the branches and debris from the eucalyptus tree, and it's built with 3 of the trunks coming out one of the backwards and side walls. But if you get up to it and look in, you can evidently see there's a giant granite boulder stretching the back of it, the tree trunks there, the roof. I'm not going to go in because I don't like the look of all that kitchen roll paper. Yeah, I'm not about to put my foot in something I don't want to put my foot in. But yeah, like I was saying, this is evidently something that you wouldn't find out of place if it was in a UK woodland. But I should imagine this is, you know, when it was used for like shelter from the sun. Now you can just see where the car park is over there where we started our walk. It's not very far and it's all flat going and easy going, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's like a granite boulder island here. As you can see, water there and water here. That wind is not lovely and refreshing. Now, we actually met a really nice couple that invited us back to their off-grid property, and they've been here for 12 years doing the off-grid thing, and they've got a beautiful setup. And ironically, it was near a place only a few 100 meters away from a property I looked at here when we came out two years ago looking at off-grid property. And yeah, how ironic was that? But they've made a life for themselves here. They invited us out for some food. We went with a group of people we're staying at, who we're staying with, including Jaime's dad. And yeah, it was a really nice afternoon. They did some real nice food, and my kids went in the pool. I went in the pool. It was a fantastic afternoon. The hospitality and warmth that's been offered to me and my wife and kids has been fantastic while we've been here. Not only due to Jaime's dad, but his friendship circle that he's created. They've taken us in, allowed us to use their amenities like swimming pools, you know, sitting with them, drinking with them. It's been a fantastic experience for us. When we did come here 2 years ago, you know, there seemed to be more of a van life community floating around. That seems to be a little bit more dispersed, but I do know that it's not heavily regulated, but the GNR or the authorities, their version of kind of like a police, aren't so forgiving as what they are back home in Cornwall. It's like if you were to park here and stay overnight and the GNR were to find you, you would be swiftly asked to move along. Back home, that's possibly not the case. And obviously that's one thing Portugal has in common with Cornwall back home this time of year. It's heavily inundated with motorhomes and vanlifers. Quite simply, they want a slice of the, you know, Cornwall. They want the Cornwall experience. You come here, you want the Central Portugal experience. And if you go out towards the coast, I should imagine it's pretty much the same circumstances as back home. But yeah, Central Portugal and Portugal as a whole, it was, there was quite a lot of animosity because of the way Vanlifers treated the place from the locals. They kind of managed to get the authorities to clamp down on that kind of nomadic lifestyle here. They've since been a bit more laxer with it, but it does look like it's paid off, because the Vanlifers we see don't congregate so heavily. They're more dispersed, and they don't readily inundate the small communities and, you know, overload themselves. And somewhere like this, where you, well, 2 years ago, you would have seen 2 or 3 Vanlifers set up camp for, you know, a day, maybe 2. They come here, utilize it, then leave before, you know, they've outstayed their welcome. So, you know, it hasn't been a bad model, but I do know they've become slightly laxer with the van life thing. But the Vanlifers that are coming here, or I've seen personally, don't seem to be abusing it now, or taking advantage of it stupidly. They seem to like utilize all the beauty and natural resources and then disperse out to wherever they go, and don't congregate to make big problems for the locals. So all is good. And if I was to ever, you know, get a van and do van life, which has been considered, by the way, not permanently, obviously part-time when I come here and do things, you know, it has been considered, but that's a whole new topic. Yeah, you know, it's the way I would, you know, treat the place as well. The thing is, wherever you go in the world, and I've travelled extensively throughout the world, it's all about respecting the locals and not upsetting them. And yeah, I try to travel with that mentality, you know. But yeah, we actually think the planes, I'm not sure on how it works, but I think the planes, they look like they're float planes. So I've wondered, I'm going to have to do my research on it. I don't know if they land in this lake, suck up water, and then go off. That could be far-fetched. I could be making that up. It's just something I was telling the kids in the back of the car. So I may have to correct them when I do get that information. But yeah, I'm now going to start thinking about backtracking and heading back to the car, going home for breakfast with the family. We're on our last few days here now, and we're thinking about getting back home, you know, wrapping up the holiday, doing the last things we want to do. I'm already thinking about what I need to do when I get back in the workshop. I've already been inundated with custom orders, and I've got to make some drop-offs to shops that have run out of stock for myself. So yeah, obviously back to a bit of a crafting work routine, and to get back out and do what I do back at home. I've got a bushcraft shelter I've got to finish. I've got some more wild camping I want to do, overnighters in some new locations. And on top of that, some more hikes I want to take you on. That is before the weather turns back in the UK. But that's for another video. But for me, I've got to get all the way back over there. Catch you in a minute. Yeah, one thing I should point out, where I'm pointing to the car park over there, there is actually a sign saying no overnight parking and camping. Yeah, I just need to clarify that, because quite evidently, you know, you're not supposed to park and camp here. But like I said, people did in the past. Just one thing, we did actually meet some, well, a lot of people from Europe when we came 2 years. It was pretty much, you know, when all the universal world illness finished, people were sort of like rushing to leave their home European countries and trying to come to Central Portugal to purchase a piece of off-grid land and do the good life sort of thing. That's evidently kind of slowed down a little bit, I think, now. From my perspective anyway, what I'm seeing with my own eyes. I'm spending a lot of time out and about on the lanes and on the smaller roads, and the hustle and bustle of van life just doesn't seem to be as great. It's still here, don't get me wrong, but not like it was, you know, when the worldwide illness finished. So this will be my last video from Central Portugal. I haven't documented 99.9% of my activities and family things over here, quite simply because we're over here for or under sort of like tragic circumstances, and it was you know, important that the family met up, and that was the main reason, not what you've seen me do, coming over here and doing this. But yeah, we have enjoyed ourselves, and it's been good to meet up with family, and it was needed. It was well needed. So yeah, next time you see me, it will be in the UK. I'm not going to film or document anything else. There may be a little bit of footage I will stick on from when we've been out and about, and yeah, basically having a little bit of a social gathering, but I'm not going to, you know, kick the ass out of that. So yeah, just walking through a load of flies at the minute. But this wind is really refreshing. So yeah, all that's left to say is thanks for coming along on a little walk by the lake through basically a Portuguese woodland, and listening to me waffle. So take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys out on the trail. Oh, and by the way, I've got to sort out my car when I get back, so that's one issue I've got to deal with, something that I've almost forgotten about, and it'll be time to say goodbye to the lemon lime green car. It's been nice driving around in this and having a nice new car at my disposal, but it really doesn't suit me driving around a new vehicle like this. I just have to be too careful for my own good. I can't scratch it. I can't. It's like having something new. You can hardly really use it, and with young kids.